Alright guys, so I finally have from Big Bad Toy Store the DC Multiverse unhinged, reckless, broken Batman from Batman the White Knight. And here you can see the standard packaging that he comes in, just like every other DC Multiverse figure. 12 and up, McFarlane toys on the top, 22 points of articulation. DC Multiverse Batman. Then on the side you can see Arkham Knight. White Knight. What did I just say? Arkham Knight? Batman White Knight, my bad. And then Batman there, DC Multiverse. Then some cool art of Batman on the top there. And you can see he's just a beefy ass Batman. The dude is ripped and the proportioning on him is just really cool, man. It's a great style from Sean Murphy from his White Knight book. And before we go any further in this video, I should let you know there are going to be spoilers for this book, because it's just, I want to talk about it so bad now that I have this figure. So anyways, very cool packaging art. I love the Sean Murphy art, and you can see this guy looks exactly like it. So let's crack this dude open, let's take a look, and let's talk about him. So here's his trading card we get, which has the same image we see on the back of the box. Great art by Sean Gordon Murphy, just a really beautiful style that he has. And then on the back here we get some stats about Batman. You can see his real name, his weight, his height. I want to get that just perfect for you guys. You can see what the source of this look on this figure, whatever they're depicting him from. And then you get a little read-up on the bottom here. Kind of a synopsis on exactly what's going on with this guy, you know, with this version of Batman. And you can pause it here and read it, or you can listen to me ramble on about it. But it's beautiful. Batman is really kind of bent out of shape, you know. He's really thrown out of his element. He is not this vigilante anymore that everyone loves. He's a vigilante that people are questioning, you know, questioning, is this okay? Is what he's doing right? And what's beautiful about it is the person who's really leading this movement against him and questioning him and getting the people to question him, and even the police, is the Joker. So, very cool comic. I definitely recommend you check it out. Here's the stand. It's not going anywhere. As you can see, he fits on it very nicely. Then here's some rope Batman has that he just kind of throws around on shit and stuff and slaps people in the nuts with. I don't know. It's a cool little rope though. The Batarang is very glossy. The rope is a nice color. I like the fact it's a different color than the Batarang. That's kind of important. And it's a different shade of gray than his suit too, which is kind of cool. But we actually get a normal Batarang. It's not super thick, so that's very nice. And we get a second set of rope that is all tangled up here, and you can actually just throw that on his belt however you wish to do. So you could put it right there, which I'm gonna do. And that looks perfect. I actually love that so much. That looks so nice, man. A really nice touch by McFarlane. You could put it on like that, but that doesn't really look right. So you kind of have to wiggle it in there. And it fits and looks really nice, man. I'll zoom that out for you guys so you can take a peek there. Better look. How cool is that? Very nice. And then we get this little grapple gun that is very reminiscent of the animated series, I believe, which I haven't seen it in a really long time, man. But if I remember right, this is really similar to it. Another thing about that book, The White Knight, you will find a lot of Easter eggs in there. Pay attention to the Batmobiles. Hopefully it's not too big of a spoiler. There will be some spoilers in here, I'm sorry. But there's some really great Easter eggs in that book. So very cool grapple gun, just a nice flat kind of grayish black. And then on the actual end of the handle here, you can see there's different textures all throughout. A nice black and a nice metallic color there. And they didn't have to do that, you know. It would have been easy to just do that flat black all throughout, and I don't think anyone would have really questioned it. But the fact that they really put in that detail just goes to show that they care, man. They did a really good job. Very nice work. And then the Batman does have a sort of gripping hand here. You can slide that grapple gun in. Don't worry, it's not going to break. It's a real soft plastic. You can wiggle it in between the fingers there. And that sounds terrible. I'm so sorry. But that looks really great. Look at that. I love how that fits in his hand. Beautiful. So at first I thought this was going to go on the end of the grapple gun, but it does not. It's not actually like a grapple. It's just a Batarang he kind of throws around stuff, basically. So what you do is, at least what I do anyways, is I kind of wrap this around his arm so it just looks kind of messy and artsy. It looks cool. I like the aesthetic of it. I kind of just like you know, get this around his arm here. Earlier I had it up by his bicep. I've been messing with this figure for a little while, you know. So I put this up by his bicep, and then I can really kind of get it between the fingers there, which that doesn't look too great. You can just kind of put it in his hand there, and that looks okay. It just kind of goes, I don't know. It looks alright. Honestly, I prefer to have it around his belt here. I think that looks a lot better. I'm glad they included these accessories, though. I do think they're kind of important and kind of relevant, especially considering it's right on his belt. So, very nice. So taking a look at the head sculpt here is incredibly just so accurate, man. It's so much like Sean Gordon Murphy's art. It is just beautiful. They couldn't have done it any better. The sculpt work on this guy is just phenomenal. I love the wrinkles in the mask there. I love the pupils in his eyes. I love that. It just looks like it came right off of that comic book page. These figures so far, the Joker, Jack Napier, and this Batman have just been so spot on. It's killing me, man. McFarlane has stepped up their game like crazy, and this is really beautiful work. The head is a softer, kind of rubbery plastic material, which is nice. For the most part, I think this piece is. You can feel it's a bit softer, so that's nice. Very short bat ears, just like in the comic. The face is really great. The pupils look good. They don't look wonky at all. The lips are cool. I love how there's some black in there. Almost looks like ink. Very, very nice. I love how this cape has a collar around it too. It is so like just cool looking, man. I love it. It gives me vampire vibes. Or Batman, dude, he lurks in the night. He's creepy, you know. It fits. Aside from the face sculpt, you can see here they included that nice ribbed bat symbol, and I was kind of, this is a really different take on his outfit, man. It's different, but I love how they did this. It looks great. So nice ribbed piece here, sculpted wonderfully, nice plastic piece, and it's very glossy and shiny. Looks very good. The cape here obviously goes all the way around his shoulders. It's a nice rubbery kind of soft material, and it is very flexible. It does move very easily. It doesn't feel like it's going to break or anything. I love how pointy and spiked it is. Very typical of Batman. And like I said, I love how it comes over his shoulders. I think that's really cool for the character. I hate when Batman's cape just kind of falls down his back. I love how it goes and flows over the shoulders. Very nice sculpting with the wrinkles and everything too. Phenomenal work. Overall, this guy is a nice consistent gray all throughout. Very nice sculpting with the muscles and everything. Again, like I said, it really reminds me of Sean Gordon Murphy's art where his Batman almost is like really top heavy. He's got some long beefy arms. It looks like if he swung at you, he'd just knock your ass out. And he's got some long kind of skinny legs. And another thing about these legs too, I love these high boots. That is a very cool style choice, man. I love all the line work all throughout. The pegs blend in very well. The ball joints here at the ankles, which I personally like because it really allows for a lot of motion, are small enough where they don't stand out like crazy. They're not just popping out at you. And same here at the wrist, they're hidden very well. I love that. Where with the past figures we've gotten, like specifically really Nightwing, they stand out terribly. It's rough. This guy, they don't stand out at all. They look and just blend in perfect. Man, amazing. So you can see here they have little spikes in the back of the arms, which are another kind of bendier, softer material. Not going to break on you. Two black lines there. The belt is also sculpted very, very nicely. That is a very soft rubbery material. This knife, I was worried when I saw this because it's like, oh God, if I'm bending him forward in this way and that way, is this knife going to break, man? It's not going to break at all. It's such a soft plastic, soft rubbery material. It is not going to break whatsoever. I feel very confident in saying that. I feel safe moving this guy around. I was also kind of nervous because in some of the promotional images he looked kind of funky, the way his legs sat and stuff. But I'm going to say, relative to his comic book counterpart, the proportioning on this guy is fantastic. He looks just like how he did from the comics. He doesn't look goofy at all. Just amazing. I like how these boots are kind of high-ended. They're like a higher boot, and they have the spikes in the back here too. The bottom of the shoes really aren't sculpted to, like, there's no significant details, but I don't think there's really meant to be. It's not a big deal. So overall, like I said, just beautiful sculpt work, man. I really couldn't have asked for anything better. This is gorgeous. And again, McFarlane really does a great job with having these soft, rubbery kind of crotch pieces that don't hinder the articulation. That is so great. That's probably my favorite thing about these figures in general. With this guy, boy, I don't know what my favorite thing about him is. I'll say this, he's the coolest Batman figure we've gotten so far. I'd say in second is probably the Arkham Batman. In third, I would say personally, is obviously that Jim Lee Batman we got, which was okay for the most part. So taking a look at this dude's articulation, move the accessory out of the way. His head, I haven't messed with this articulation too much. Actually looks back very far. You know, I thought this cape would really get in the way, but it looks back very far. Would you look at that? Amazing. Looks down pretty far. Well, not really. It doesn't look down too much, but when you really add that swivel in, you can make him look at the ground or whatever you need to do. There is a bit of a neck pivot here, obviously. Very nice. There obviously is a rotation all over the place. You can have him look in all sorts of directions. Love it. The arms are not hindered by the cape really whatsoever, so that's nice. That looks very, very good. There are butterfly joints in there that work very, very well on this guy. Obviously a rotation. He has some huge shoulders. I love it. But rotation, going around, up and down, whatever you want to do with this guy. There's a swivel here at the bicep. Just looks like a single jointed elbow. You can see the peg there. And you can see those little rivets in his arm, that little ribbed piece there. So, I mean, that's nice, but it kind of looks ugly, but I'm not going to pay too much attention to it. If you don't look at it, it doesn't really matter. Looks good for the most part. I love how this articulation blends into the arm here, too. That is beautiful. Like I said before, that's very, very nice. And the musculature of this guy, just in general, is fantastic. There are ball joints here in the wrist, so you can kind of angle his hand down, or you can rotate that ball joint in there. You know, it takes a little bit of messing with, but you can rotate it and twist that hand. You can have his hand go in and out too, rather than up and down. So that's very nice. I love that. There's a swivel here up by the top of his abdomen, right below the chest, which is okay. Doesn't work too well because of this piece here, but it looks good. It really blends in nicely, I think. Then there is a rotation in the swivel here at his waist, which works pretty well for the most part. You can kind of get it to, I mean, with these two swivels working together, you can get some nice motion here, including the legs too. So he definitely has quite a bit of motion. You can pivot him too, which is really nice. Make him dodge a punch or whatever you want to do. And there is a rotation as well. That's very smooth and stiff at the same time. So nice. You can put these legs very far out. You can have him doing a freaking roundhouse kick if you want. Very cool. Legs go forward. You can hear that squeaking because of this piece here. That's another thing I didn't notice too. There's some lines here like stitching on his boots or something. That looks very nice. You have him go back very, very far. There is a little bit of a rotation. Better than some of the figures we've gotten in the past, but still not like a crazy amount of rotation, unfortunately. Would have been nice if these boots, this lower leg, would have been a separate piece and you could have had a little rotation at the thigh, but whatever, man. Beggars can't be choosers, 20 bucks, and it is beautiful for what we get. Anyways, double jointed knees, which also blend in pretty nicely. That articulation does. On the back of the boot, not so much, but double jointed knees, very nice. Then there is a ball joint here at the ankle, and you can also have a little ankle pivot if you'd like. And there is a hinge at the boot, and that's a very smooth hinge. Looks good. You can't really see anything sticking out there, no metal in that. Maybe a little bit, but it blends in for the most part. So overall, this articulation is pretty good. It'd be nice to see a better rotation here. When you have opportunities to hide the rotation at his thigh, like with that boot, you really should take advantage of that, man, because that would have been very nice. But for the most part, he has great articulation, and he's a beautiful figure. That's honestly the only downfall to this guy, and it's really such a small downfall. Like, how can you even complain? It's such a great figure. So here he is next to the two other Batmans that we've seen. He's obviously quite a bit shorter than both of them, which is surprising. I figured he'd be a little bit taller because he's kind of stockier, but honestly, I don't think we're going to be displaying him along with these Batmans as much. You know, it doesn't bother me all that much, considering they're completely different versions of the character. What matters is how he scales next to Jack Napier and Azrael, which I do not have that figure yet, sadly, but when I do, I will compare. So, you know, keep watching, stay tuned for that. Here he is next to Batgirl and Nightwing as two sidekicks, and obviously they both are taller than him. Nightwing especially is way too tall, man, and Batgirl's a bit tall too, but hopefully in the future we see some releases of these characters from the White Knight comic book, because spoiler alert, they're both in it. And hopefully we do see him in his GTO gear, Nightwing, that Gotham terrorist oppression unit. Is it terrorism oppression or terrorist oppression? I think it's Gotham terrorist oppression unit. And here he is next to the Batman Who Laughs and the Arkham Asylum Joker. Arkham Asylum Joker towers him, way bigger than him, but I'm not going to be displaying them together, so not a big deal. The Batman Who Laughs, I might put him with the Batman Who Laughs. I mean, they're from different alternate universes. You could go somewhere with that, I don't know. But and for the most part, those guys line up in height. They're about the same height, I'd say. The White Knight Batman being just a tad bit shorter. So here we have Jack Napier in his Gotham terrorist oppression outfit right next to Batman. And these two size up perfectly. Batman's just a tad bit taller, and that's really the important height comparison you want. You want them to be accurate to the comic book, so they hit it out of the park with this one. Perfect. One other small detail I want to bring to your attention, again with the head sculpt, because it's just so incredible and so spot on. But look at how his bottom lip just sticks out a little bit more than the top one. He has a small underbite, and man, that is so cool. I love that small detail. So overall, I've been so impressed by this figure. I've got really nothing to complain about. He's just so amazing. He's detailed so well. The articulation is really nice. His head sculpt, his body sculpt is so much like the art. I couldn't have asked for it to be better. This exceeded my expectations. Went so far beyond. He matches up perfectly with this Joker too. So far, McFarlane has really been knocking these figures out of the park, and I highly recommend you go buy these guys, especially if you love that White Knight story. It is like you are holding the characters right from the comic book in your hand, just from comic book to real life, spot on image, just beautiful likeness to Sean Murphy's art, who is a fantastic artist. The sculptor who did this is absolutely fantastic, amazing work with this from this guy, and I cannot wait to review the Azrael figure, because I'm sure I'm going to say the same exact thing about that figure. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you go and read The White Knight if you haven't yet. If you have, leave your comments below what you thought about it. What do you think of this Batman? Is he a bad guy? Honestly, I have that conflict where I've only read The White Knight. I have not read The Curse of the White Knight, the second part of this. So, I mean, from what I saw, he was struggling, man. So I don't know. And he was kind of an ass at times, but he was struggling. You know, he's broken, man. He had some hard stuff going on. So let me know what you think of this Batman, this version of him. Let me know what you think of this costume, this design. I personally like it. I think it's pretty cool. And let me know what you think of the figure, obviously. If you have it, do you like it? Do you like it as much as I do? Because I freaking love it, man. I think it's fantastic. Anyways, again, thank you for watching. Please stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for more giveaways. I'm going to be announcing some very soon. Likely, probably by August. I'd like to do one every month. So stay tuned for my next giveaway. The last one is finished. A certain individual won. You can go check that out on my Instagram. Congrats to them. Anyways, stay tuned for more, guys. Please like this. Please subscribe if you haven't. And most importantly, keep on collecting. Peace, guys.